News dump. Here we are. Mac, not available. Everyone else, not available. So who is? But from TLDR and Change My Mind, Nick Fryer.
It's Desperation Day on the Mac and Goo program. That's for damn sure.
We are getting close to the dumping hour when you would usually get a news dump. Just to try and fit something in for the people, I said I refuse to not give you one episode in the week. I have to give you two. So here we are, and Nick is with me.
Yes, you are the king of content. We all know that, and it is fitting that it's on a Friday. I know from a listener standpoint, it's not ideal, but I don't know why. I feel like it makes sense for you to do this too.
Now, enjoy listening to this episode on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. Beggars can't be choosers.
News dump. Our movie's back. Box office is up over the last 2 weeks. Inside Out 2, domestic, 155. It is tracking for 75 to 85 this week. The week prior, 56 domestic on Bad Boys 4? Question mark. And it is heading towards another pretty good weekend, finishing 2. I know right now it is over 120 million heading into its third weekend. The Bike Riders hitting theaters this weekend, only tracking for about 12 million, but that's not bad. We had a bit of an issue there for a little while where Furiosa did not do well, other movies like that, The Fall Guy, but are we back?
It sure as hell feels like we're back, but at the same time, like Inside Out 2, I can't help but wonder, Goo, if this is more like, what happened with Barbie, which is still separate from Oppenheimer as much as that had its own success, but Barbie, Mario, Spider-Verse is kind of its own thing, but still like these animated movies that are very much accessible to kids, Inside Out specifically more so for kids. That's huge.
Because you can't even look at it as like, well, IPs are going to do well because Indiana Jones did very poorly last year. Marvel in general, up and down with their stuff last year. So I'm just curious, like, how's the Bike Riders going to do? I know that we don't have a ton coming out. I know that we have The Quiet Place day one at the end of this month, early next month, Kinds of Kindness coming out, and then Deadpool and Wolverine late in July. That is the one, Marvel-wise specifically, of is it still here or have people soured?
Yeah, I mean that's going to be a huge one. I mean, obviously, at least, people haven't soured to the extent, at least at home, when it comes to Marvel, because obviously with X-Men the animated series, we've talked about a ton. But I am very curious to see, like, does it have that same pop that stuff has had in the past? Because that does fly in the face of what I was just talking about, as well as the recent Bad Boys movie, which hey, good for them. But Bike Riders is the one I'm particularly excited about. I enjoyed Inside Out too, but this is similar to the Fall Guy, where it's just like a thing that's kind of out of left field, as much as it does have pre-existing story to it.
Yeah, it's inspired by a true story. Also has some pretty good star power to it as well. And I know I was reading, I forget where it was, but they were saying that like Hollywood was kind of tracking more towards like at the end of the summer, early fall, Beetlejuice might be one of the biggest movies of the year. But I don't see it touching what Inside Out 2 just did.
No, it's been crushing it. I mean, I would love to see Beetlejuice do really well, because then we'll get Beetlejuice, right? One would think that would be the third movie.
But that would
I'd be all
just be
about
a
it.
snake eating its own tail of him constantly coming out and being put back in the bottle.
This is we'll see what number 2 looks like. So maybe not. I don't know.
It would just be him falling down a vortex of, ah!
You're telling me you wouldn't watch Keaton doing
I'm
that
going
for
to
at least
watch
an hour?
every Beetlejuice thing possible, Fryer.
Exactly. So what are you complaining about?
I'm not complaining. None of this show is complaining, ever.
Okay.
Who's done? Got a teaser. I'm not even sure what we'd really call this. It was more, it was Batman reading the voice actors that'll be in the Batman Caped Crusader show that is coming to Amazon Prime in August. And it was revealed that Hamish Linklater, is that how we're pronouncing his name?
I think it's Hamish, but
Hamish
I don't know.
Linklater. I would know him as the brother from the New Adventures of Old Christine. I'm sure he's done other stuff since, but he is the voice of Batman. In the teaser, didn't really get me going, and then also got me more in a tizzy, if you will, when they revealed that Diedrich Bader, who has voiced Batman in the past, is in the voice cast.
That's an odd move. I do like Hamish Linklater. He's in Midnight Mass. He is the
Mhm.
priest in that show. That was outstanding on Netflix. He's also in The Newsroom, and he's insufferable. But again, a great actor. I don't have. I don't know. I'm generally not. We've talked about this a ton on your show and my other shows. I'm not one to criticize voice actors as much. I'm not as picky.
Fryer doesn't have ears.
But here's the thing, Goo. I was a little bothered by his interpretation of Batman. I was like, I hear too much Hamish in this Batman, and it's
Mhm.
bothering me a bit.
Also revealed that Christina Ricci, is going to be playing Catwoman. So that's a nice little tidbit right there.
Cool.
This show looks like it's going to be good. I like how they are both honoring the show from the '90s, but also trying to distance themselves from it.
Yeah, I think I feel like okay about it. I'm not like
Yeah.
over the moon because again, like that's just a weird move for me. Like with Linklater, where it's like I can hear your
Mhm.
voice in it. I just hope I can get past that because I generally don't deal with that frustration.
News down. A show that I am getting over the moon on, and that is HBO's Penguin. We got a full trailer. It seems to be set about a week after the movie, or at least the start of the show is a week after the Batman, because we find out my father, Falcone, just died a week ago. We also meet Falcone's daughter, Sophia, played by Christina Milioti, and Penguin just wants that juice.
Yeah, I've been like meh at best on this show the entire time. And
Well,
then I
just the
saw the
concept of Penguin, we've already seen Gotham got what, 5 seasons? Something
something
like
like
that.
that. Yeah, it's around for a
This
while.
looks like what I wanted Gotham to be the whole time.
It looks pretty badass, man. I mean,
Yes.
this they cut a damn good trailer, but I don't like normally it's just like when I see a good trailer, it's like, oh, this looks cool. Okay, all the effects, whatever, the stakes. But it's like I don't know, from that trailer, I felt like we're gonna get good writing, we're gonna get some real high quality acting in this. I feel really great coming off this, and I had low expectations.
Also, coming out of the Batman, you could have talked about so many things that were great in that movie, especially acting wise, character wise. And I do feel like Colin Farrell's Penguin, kind of forgotten when
Mhm.
talked about. He's going to steal the show here. He's going to steal his own show. Can you steal your own show?
I you, you know what? If it's possible, he's going to be the first to ever do that I know of at least.
Having said that, Christina Milioti or Christine Milioti, one of those two, has charmed my pants off every time I have seen her in anything, whether it be How I Met Your Mother in that brief appearance, Wolf of Wall Street, Palm Springs. I've always enjoyed her.
Yeah, she does a great job, and but this is like a slightly different role. I'm
Mhm.
curious how much charm we see. Clearly in the trailer, she's not putting up with any of Penguin's BS, and I'm excited to see her get after it a little bit.
Also curious if they bring up at any points the twist in the Batman spoilers that
Uh,
Selena is Falcone's daughter.
that'd be an interesting. Hmm,
When
that
trying
would
to
be
stake
yeah,
claim to the
yeah.
empire there.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, it'd be cool. I would love it if we just out of nowhere saw her show up. Like that's kind of stuff never gets hidden.
Mhm.
It's always somehow leaks out. But what a surprise that would be.
I mean, but now you can also not leak out, but you can have in the show some of the C-list villains, some of the B-list ones that maybe you don't want to get in the movies, or even ones that you want to introduce right now that later get into the movies. So give me this.
So you're saying you want Condiment King and Kite Man?
No, don't spit in my face. Get that Hawk Tui out of here right now. I want people that like you don't want to waste time on an origin story when heading into a movie. Like even start dropping a little hints of Clayface, Mad Hatter.
Hmm. Calendar Man.
Get Calendar Man out of here. Actually, Calendar Man is great. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Calendar Man is I was confusing him with Condiment Man for a second. But yeah, Calendar Man is actually pretty good. Maybe some Victor Zaz right now.
Well, yeah, yeah. Victor Zaz is always someone who I'm interested in seeing the mix. Yeah, I think your line of logic makes a ton of sense. Give me some of those people that apply to the mafia, the ground villain type characters. That would work really well.
News down. Got a bit of a timeline here on when the Deadpool and Wolverine movie will be taking place, at least at the beginning. The new movie takes place 6 years after the second movie.
Okay, that all right. That makes sense. So that gives them enough time to bring everybody back, and that okay, understood.
I, oh, my lord.
Oh
Choke
boy,
my own spit
jeez.
there. I think it also tracks with my original thought of I think that him and Vanessa are broken up.
That would make sense, and then working with the time variance and everything. Yeah,
Well,
okay. Yeah.
he already went back in time to save her, and then I
Yep.
think that, you know, like, he's kinda feels like, "I brought you back," and she doesn't wanna be with him, that type of stuff. Little Goostradamus, little breadcrumbs.
That'd be yeah, but then you're still working with, like, time travel, and then it's like, "Oh, I can go back and fix this." Maybe that's where they
Or
get 'em.
he thinks to himself, "I have nothing to live for, so might as well try and do whatever you guys tell me."
That also works, and I'm here for that.
News down. Speaking of Deadpool, via Games Radar, Sean Levy wants to make a Deadpool and Spider-Man film, saying, "I feel like Tom Holland would run circles around everyone else."
Yeah, and there's precedent for this too in the comics. I mean, these two Spider-Man teams up with anybody who's in
Yeah.
New York. Obviously, Deadpool isn't limited to New York, but Joe Kelly and Ed McGuinness, and then Robbie Thompson and Chris Palchado did a 50 issue run. Spider-Man Deadpool from 2016 to 2019. I haven't read all of it, but the bits that I have read had a ton of fun. Highly recommend people checking this out because you're just like this tandem. They work very well together in a few different ways. So I would love to see them on the big screen. Absolutely.
And also, what we've seen from the MCU Spider-Man is that he's been great with other heroes, Iron Man, Doctor Strange. Think back to Civil War, how fun he was with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, definitely. And like they've done this in the comics. Like have Deadpool do a little time travel and
Yeah.
have him just drop in and be like, "I'm you from the future, kid," and then like just take his mask off and just scare the fucking shit out of him.
Also, some funny stuff too, where Spider-Man is always the goofier character going up
Mhm.
against the straight man. You put him with Deadpool, he is now the straight man.
Yep, 100%.
And also with this Spider-Man now, after what he's gone through in No Way Home, he's a real depressed sack of shit.
Yep, and he could use a friend.
Could use a friend. News dub. Speaking of Spider-Man, Vincent D'Onofrio was speaking to Collider and was asked about being in a Spider-Man movie and essentially said, Marvel characters, it's kind of tough right now. Disney, Sony owning certain characters. It'd be difficult for me to get into a Spider-Man movie.
I swear, if Sony tries to bring Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin into their stuff, that's anything that's not the Tom Holland MCU stuff. This may be where I draw the line in the sand. Like I'm not okay with this. Like all the nonsense that we've gotten. He's a character that makes a lot of sense to have like his own movie for sure. But
Mhm.
at the same time, I don't want Sony being the one to run that show.
What if it is a Spider-Man movie that's being run by Disney that incorporates a bit of Daredevil, but also Kingpin is there? Kingpin is
Yeah,
the main villain.
that all sounds great. I would be totally down for that, but I just anytime it's Sony Marvel right
So
now, I'm just
you don't want Kingpin dealing with the other villains that are already in the Sony universe. That's the main thing.
yes.
You
I'm
don't
not
want
here
him
for
dealing with Morbius, Venom, any of those characters.
no, not Madam Web either for those just who are wondering at home. Yes, no,
I
I
would want if you give me a Madam Web sequel right now, I'm gonna watch it.
you know what, that would be an amazing test for Vincent D'Onofrio's star power. Can you make a good Madam Web movie where you're at the center of things? I don't think you can. I don't think anybody can.
News down. Got an update via THR and put together by Culture Crave about Blade, the movie that may never happen.
Mhm.
It is set in present day. Mia Goth is still attached. It is unclear which role, but previously was going to play vampire Lilith. Is that a good character?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. The script will be rewritten over the summer and then sent out to directors. Of course, it has lost its second director. That happened last week. Mahershala Ali sees Blade as his Black Panther. The project was announced 5 years ago.
I feel not good at all
Mhm.
about this, and I've not felt that way until recently, until these recent developments, like where you're
Yeah.
getting another director out and everything. It's just how I don't know. Like it just you want it to be Black Panther. That's like that was a cultural moment that was massive. It's I don't know, man. This doesn't feel good right now.
As long as Mahershala Ali is still attached, I think it still has a chance. Having said that, I think if he leaves the project, they're just going to scrap it.
They should. They honestly should at that point, because it's just like you can try again with Blade at some point. He's gonna get right now, anyways. He's gonna get drowned out by all the X-Men stuff, and then even the Fantastic Four too. Like, I like Blade. I want to see Blade in the mix. I want to see Mahershala Ali as Blade. I think he will kick ass. He will probably get drowned out in this mix, but this whole mess is just gonna. It seems like it's gonna do the character more damage.
News down. Little Star Wars news here. Dave Filoni said that he still occasionally calls George Lucas for Star Wars advice, and Lucas has an open door policy if he ever wants to make another project. I look at this as being the best of both worlds. If they are able to get George Lucas to make another Star Wars project where he is not uh the only word, the only gospel upon what is happening, like say in the Phantom Menace, where he might have had a little too much power and he might have needed a no guy. This would, if he is able to step in there, create something where he has some guidelines and some people overseeing what he's doing, we could get another classic.
We could. I think Filoni and Lucas working together, I think there's like a level of like respect, obviously, that Filoni has for
Oh
Lucas. I
yeah.
mean, but
I
just
think
evidence by
Filoni looks at him and, that might be one of the issues as like, this guy is God. This guy created Star Wars.
yeah, but as what I'm trying to get at is, I hope that
Mm,
he wouldn't do that, and that instead he would like highlight the things that he sees as important that Lucas
yes.
does, and then further amplify or accent it in the best way possible. Because again, like we've talked about it before, the Duel of Fates. I enjoyed that lightsaber fight, of course. Like, who didn't
Yes.
get to see Darth Maul and Qui Gon in action? But when Filoni broke it down in the way he did, it just
Mhm.
elevated that story so much more. And I feel like if he had been involved in that project and said more, we there that weight might have been felt a little bit more prior to him, doing that breakdown.
All of what I just said earlier, by the way, is if they ever gave him a chance to make a new movie under their current umbrella.
Right.
But also, I like the idea too of getting advice of like, hey, we have this creature, this can you just want to help us round this out?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I that would be. I'm open to having him in the mix. I think I just, again, like you said, the most important thing is he's got to be open to hearing like, yeah, okay, this works, this works, but that doesn't work, and then people got to be comfortable saying that to him as well.
News down. I forgot to watch this trailer, Fryer, but at least you
Dude,
did, and that is for The Front Room.
this is an A24 movie, and
Yeah.
this feels very much like my kind of style. Like, we're dealing with like some religious horror eeriness, and it is very uncomfortable. But it was like in all the right ways. I was very much in on this trailer. I had no clue like this was a thing. I want to keep giving A24 more looks because of how they handled the strike and everything like that. They've been putting out a
Mhm.
lot of good stuff. I'm all in on this movie now. Go. Thank you.
Starring Brandy, and it is a Sam and Max Eggers movie. Are we going to enter the Brandy Renaissance, the Brand Renaissance? We're going to
We,
have some time to think about this.
we might, but I'll tell you what, for you horror fans, like, you are absolutely going to want to check this thing out, because based on that trailer alone, I was like, this is terrifyingly uncomfortable.
Hopefully, Monica's in it as well.
Sh- I don't.
The
What?
boy is mine. The boy is mine. The boy is
Oh,
mine. Do you not know the boy is mine?
no. I know you have to see the baby.
That's not the same thing. That's a
I know
different
it's
thing.
not. I know it's not. I don't know
Ugh,
what you're talking about.
gross. Get out of my face. News dump. We have gotten 4 episodes of The Boys. I have not caught episode 4 yet. The first 3 episodes, satisfying. I do feel like I'm happy knowing that they know that it's ending after season 5.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
happy that they have a clear endpoint where I still think The Boys is a great show, but
yeah.
it is, with its storytelling, getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah, the thing that I like, The Boys is a weird one for me, where it's like every time it comes back around, it's like, okay, am I going to get into this? Because it gets so like there's no fat on it, but there's
Mhm.
so much that's going on, so many different dynamics, and it's a lot. But I love The Boys, and I mean Garth Ennis and I'm blanking on the artist. Shame on me. But the story is like the comics are outstanding, and they really have done it justice. And I love I love what Kripke's done with it.
Yeah, some great stuff in the first 2 episodes. We got a big old naked fight, lots of dicks. That was fun.
As it tends to have. By the way, it's Derek Robertson. I needed to make sure I said that's the artist of the boys. Sorry.
Thank you for correcting that, Fryer. That was very important here.
It's important to me.
Um, Also, storytelling, getting a little on the nose, but they also know that. So credit to them for at least knowing what they're doing. But I'm excited to see what happens throughout the rest of the season and for the final season, and to see what they do with Gen V. Are they going to spin off into more shows? Are they going to try and water this so much to get as much out of it? Maybe with those spinoffs, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's smart. I will say I agree with you. It's smart. Cut it at 5. That way, that's good. If you try and do extra, awesome.
No, we have a clear endpoint for Butcher. Let's finish
Mhm.
Butcher's story and then move on.
Yep, absolutely.
News dump. I will eventually watch The Acolyte. News dump. All right, Fryer, want to plug yourself real quick?
Yeah, you can find us on Change My Mind podcast, CMM podcast on Apple, Spotify, all the places that you find podcasts, that you find Mac and Goo as well. Same with TLDR podcast, and you can follow TLDR on Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it, and TikTok, TLDR_pod.
All right, join us next week. We'll think of, I don't know, we'll think of something. We'll have a news dump at the end of the week. Hopefully, Mac will be available at the start of the week. News dump.